to our weekly feature, Citizen Planet. And it's been exactly 5 months since the Environment and Lands Court declared President William Ruto's directive to allow logging in forests as illegal.
However, it did allow annual harvesting of 5,000 hectares of mature and over-mature trees in forests under the supervision of the Kenya Forest Service and the multi-agency Tame Harvesting. KFS has begun the process to remove the trees, most of which have fallen due to wind, game damage, pests, and diseases. Out of the 150,000 hectares set aside for forest plantations, KFS says materials in about 10,000 hectares need to be salvaged before they go to waste. In our weekly Citizen Planet show or segment, our reporter Gatete Njoroge takes a look at KFS fellings plan and how the timber sector is still reeling from moratoriums issued in the past.
Sounds of birds amid light showers welcomes us to this lush vegetation inside Kakamega Forest in Malava area. Kenya's only surviving tropical forest is home to 300 bird and butterfly species. For years, the forest has been a source of herbs used for medicinal purposes by the host communities, including the famous mukombero, believed to help boost libido among men. However, a deeper look inside the forest and one cannot help but notice fallen and bending trees. Some trees have heart rot, a fungal disease that causes the decay of wood. This is the impact of delayed felling as a result of a moratorium issued back in 2018.
At this juncture, we are losing as a government because the materials are going to lose. The ones that have been affected by the windfall, we cannot get the product that is expected.
Sawmillers in the area who complain of low sales since the moratorium say the long delay in salvaging the material inside the forest poses another danger.
Windfall imeangusha miti mingi kabisa tangu Disemba. Hiyo miti iko chini. Na hiyo inachukua process mrefu kwa forest kuprocess tu kitu kama hiyo, alafu watu watoe hiyo miti na walipie serikali pesa. Sasa tuna encourage wizi. Mtu akipita akiona miti imelala chini, obviously mpaka atakuwa tempted kukata.
Miti ya forest iko quality. Huwezi linganisha na miti ya reserve. Mkulima huwa anauza miti yake kulingana na shida zenye ako nazo. Angalia kama utaenda rose ama utapata.
In the neighboring Nandi County, where only 15% of the forest is plantation forest, the situation is more or less the same. Lack of silvicultural practices, which is basically the art and science of controlling the growth, health and quality of forests and woodlands. The effects of this over the last 6 years is evident in Kimoli Forest. About 100 out of the total 1,339 hectares of the plantation forest has been affected by windfalls.
The trees grow very, very fast and grow very tall. Whenever we have periods of winds, you realize they affected a lot of plantations. The background, apart from them falling, but they also experience a lot of broken tops.
Sasa kama sisi CFA tumekuwa na miche kule nursery ambaye tulipanda 2018 mpaka saa hii haijapandwa. Na tukipata mahali hii miti imekatwa, tungepanda hizo miche. So tumekuwa affected na miti zetu ambaye tulikuwa tumetuta nursery ambaye tungepea Kenya Forest Service tupande katika hiyo misitu.
The script is the same in Meru, Nyeri, Makueni counties. For over 6 years, the plantations were left to grow on their own with no thinning or pruning, resulting in the destruction of forest material. The Kenya Forest Service management says 9,957 hectares of the plantation forest in the country has material that needs to be salvaged, failure to which they will go to waste.
If a fire erupts in this plantation, allowed this area where you can see these trees that have fallen down, the fire will spread and it will consume the entire plantation. So if you are allowed to harvest what the court has allowed us, we are expecting this financial year to collect 8 billion Kenya shillings.
The ones that are mature and over-mature, you have got around 26,000 hectares. The country demand is 57.2 million cubic meters. Now the court has given us 5,000 hectares. which is equivalent to 2.049 million cubic meters.
One of the concerns raised by those opposed to the return of logging was the issue of biodiversity. They argued that biodiversity was being affected, especially under the pellet system, where farmers from a community that borders a forest were allowed to farm and plant trees after every harvest cycle.
Most of these plantations are established on the fringes of the main natural forest, so they act as a buffer, stopping people to get into the natural forest to cause damage. And this place will be open for a short period of time, within which it will be covered back by trees. And therefore, at the end of the day, the impact on biodiversity is quite minimal.
But even with the opening of the 5,000 hectares for harvesting annually by the courts, there lies another danger: illegal logging, which was a key factor in implementing a moratorium back in 2018. Alex Lemarcoco, the country's chief conservator, attributes illegal logging to crime and not having enough rangers to tackle the problem.
Government has given us a good number of rangers. So in terms of capacity to prevent illegal logging, I can say we are almost at 80% for now. We have sacked 37 personnel. Illegal logging, we are capable of controlling illegal logging, but resources are required.
Beyond the lack of civic education on how the public should manage forested areas, Lemarcoco notes that the moratorium has had both positive and negative impact.
Trees on farms and community land basically gain value. That is one. Then the other positive thing is that it allowed us also to plan and relook at our systems, our procedures, which we got time now to improve our procedures.
The chief conservator also says the country is on track to increase the forest cover to 30% by planting 15 billion trees by 2032, as was witnessed during the National Tree Planting Day.
Because of the good rains that we've been receiving, we have had, like for Q alone itself, we have more than 80% survival rate of what we planted there. And generally across the country, our survival rate is very high, over 75%, which is what we want.
The Kenya Forest Service has also embraced technology to monitor forests, including the use of drones for surveillance, mapping, and aerial seeding. They are also using artificial intelligence to monitor illegal activities in forests, detect and monitor forest fires.